Okay, guys, are you ready to get started on a fun night? Can everybody hear me okay? Okay, so the first ornament that we're going to work on tonight is probably going to be our messiest ornament. And I want to, it's the only one of the ornaments that I did not try ahead of time. It's something I found just a few minutes ago, and I was like, oh, I had all the stuff and I really wanted to do it. Can everybody see everything okay? Okay, so what I want to do for the first one is, I did this search for these cute thimble ornaments, and I found one. I collect snowmen, and maybe it's because I live in Florida, I don't know, but I love snowmen, and my tree is full of them, and in Florida we have no snow, so maybe that's why I do it, I don't know. But tonight I want to make, I found this, trying to get my chat just right. I'm sorry, guys. I'm stuttering right here at the beginning. But I found this cute tutorial online for making these spool snowmen. So we're going to get started. First thing is I have this little disc. This is just those little balsa wood circles, and I happen to have a whole pack of them. So I just pick one to fit the topper of my spool. And then this is actually one of those, they call it round, where's the thing? The packaging was sitting right here just a minute ago. I think I've buried it. Oh, there it is. It's called round head plugs. These are 1/2 inches. So what we're going to essentially do is we're going to glue that to the top of that hat and make the hat for our snowman with that. And I'm going to go ahead and glue that on with some hot glue. Hot glue is your friend when you're making Christmas ornaments. I remember growing up as a child, my grandmother, we used to make Christmas ornaments all the time, and it was, hot glue was everywhere, and she would always be like, you can't touch that because I don't want you to get burnt. So here is our little top hat for our little snowman. Isn't that adorable? Yes, I did hit record. Thank you for reminding me. And I'm just going to use my Distress Paint Black Soot from Tim Holtz. We did this, Flamingo Scraps had a kit for these earlier in the year. And I like that it has a dauber on it because it makes it super simple to do stuff like this. But I think in this case I'm just going to have to put a little bit on my mat and paint it on because I can't get the dauber around the top hat too well. So I'm going to just go ahead and just paint that on. And this is just that balsa wood, so it just really soaks up that paint really well. And it shouldn't take long to dry at all. So you guys make sure that you check out the blog every day. The design team is working on Christmas in July. I think everyone's really gotten into this particular theme. I've been seeing so many great ideas all over the place. And as far as the ornaments that we're going to do tonight, they are not my original design. I just did some internet searches, and I'm going to tell you, there are tons of ideas out there, and a lot of these I don't even know who to give credit to because I've seen them multiple times on different blogs and things, but they seem to be the most popular, so that's why I was like, well, let's do these because there's a couple of different reasons. One, the snowman I really wanted to do because I collect snowman. And then a couple of the others I wanted to do because I enjoy giving ornaments at Christmas time on my packages in lieu of bows on my packages. So the ornaments that I have picked out will look gorgeous on top of your packaging. And I was surprised actually that there's so many people out there who really told me, you know, through the years that they actually collect those ornaments up off the packages that I give them, and they use them in on their Christmas tree every year, and it helps them to remember me, which I thought was really cool because that was the spirit in which I gave it to them. So if you haven't done that before, please do it. Sometimes mine include pictures of the family. I've used the Baroque die one year and made some little hanging signs, and that was how they knew who the package was from, because it had you know, a photo of my family on there, or the kids or something. And they always include the year of some way or another. I always try to put the year on there, and it just makes your packages look so beautiful. And if you come up with 2 or 3 different designs, then you could dedicate a particular design to a household or family. Like in my family, we have 3 families all together. We're kind of my husband has 2 sets of parents, so it's nice for us to at a glance decide whose packaging goes where. And then because you may actually see the bottom of this a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and paint the bottom as well, on the bottom of his hat. So there's this little hat. How stinking cute is that little guy? And I like that it's kind of flat. So I'm going to let that sit and dry for just a second, and we're going to paint up our, this is just water that I have in this bottle. So I'm going to go ahead and clean off my brush so I can use the white. I don't want black in my, well, I should have filled my bottle up with water. I don't want black on my, I gotta get a paper towel. I'm sorry, guys. I don't want black in my white paint for sure, so I want to make sure I get this good and clean. In fact, I think I might even just go ahead and toss this brush to the side, clean it later, and get a new brush. And just grab a new paintbrush for the white. I don't want to get any black on my white snowman. Okay, so then I'm just going to take gesso and use gesso to paint up these little white spools. And I always keep my... Hi, Donna. Donna is one of our guest designers this month. So I'm just using white gesso, and I keep my white gesso in this individual container, or this little small container, because if I accidentally leave the lid off of it, I haven't ruined all of my gesso. I've only ruined the one, and this one little bit, and this is actually the full body gesso, which you could just use white paint too. This just happens to be the white paint that I have on my desk at the moment. So I don't think that the surface prep would be good because it's kind of watered down and thinned out. So you may want to you know, not use that one. So anyway, I've got my gesso here, and I'm just going to liberally paint my spools. And you know, we're not supposed to have an August class because Suzanne and I are going to be at CHA together, and we're thinking about actually doing a broadcast from CHA, which is, I think we come back on like the 27th of July, and then August, the first Monday would be August. So if we do decide to have a second Ustream in August, it may very well be continuation of the Christmas ornaments, just to kind of, you know, keep on with the theme. And since I won't have a lot of time for prep, you know, we'll just continue on like that, because I have found so many cute ideas that I wanted to bring to you guys, and I had to remember that I have a limited amount of time here on Ustream. So you know, if we have to split this up into 2 months, then it'll be fun, and you guys will have this as a reference point for, you know, when you are ready to make Christmas ornaments, or you guys can follow along either way. These are so simple, and I'm trying to come up with designs that are simple for the kids to join in with. Hi, Z Scrapper. How are you tonight? What is your real name, Z Scrapper? So I can put a face with the name. If you guys are not already subscribed to the Flamingo Scraps newsletter, that is where you get the 411 on what's going on and what time we're going to be here and sales and information like that about the store. Suzanne is got the best customer service in the universe, and I don't care what it is I throw at her. She seems to always have it and find it and get it in, and if it's not available in the store, drop her a note. She's great about doing special orders if she can meet the minimums. So she ships worldwide and always has some amazing sales. And the papers that we're using tonight are going to be from, is it Cartabella and Echo Park, and they are available in the big pink blue, the pink bargain bin, pink bird, the big bird bargain bin. Say that 40 times. Anyway. And it's at a steal of a price, to be honest with you. So you guys go check it out. We only got one more to paint. So we're going to do all 3 of these. Now, those of you who have followed me for ages know that I don't do glitter. I don't like it. I don't like the touch of it. I don't like the feel of it. I love the shininess of it, but can't stand it. Can't stand to have it on me, around me, or anything. And I always laugh because I say Ranger created Stickles for a reason, and it was to give me that glitter look. But I have to tell you, I'm gonna probably send some of you laughing, but I actually broke down the other day and bought glitter. I actually bought glitter the other day. Is that crazy or what? Okay, so all my little pieces are painted, and they shouldn't take long to dry. So I'm going to put this away because I don't think I'm going to need it anymore for tonight. I'm going to clean up my brush. Get my surface area all cleaned up. Let's see, this was the first one I painted. It might need just a little bit more. It's looking a little naked there. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to say this is the center, the belly, for just real quick. And I'm going to take that black paint again and just put a little dab right there on my mat. And I've got a hairline brush here, but I like the center piece of that, or the back of that, and I'm going to dip my paint right into that. And this is going to be his little coal pieces on his tummy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start in the center of the spool, and I'm going to put a little dab of paint right there in the center. I'm going to pick up just a little bit more and come up and add just a little bit right there. I don't want to go too high because I'm probably going to cover it up with a little scarf or something. And then I'm going to add another one right underneath there. So now he's got his little coal pieces right there. Look at how cute that is. Okay, so I'm going to put that to the side, and let's work on his face. So that one's still kind of gopped up. Duped up. How many of you start thinking about Christmas early? You can use either one. I'm using gesso right now. You can use acrylic paint. It doesn't matter. I just happen to have gesso on my desk, and tonight I'm using a full-body gesso. Because the Surface Prep gesso is kind of watered down, and I wanted full coverage, and I wanted it quick coverage. So now to do his face, and it might get a little tricky. So what I'm going to do is continue on with my little dab of paint, and I'm using the back end of my paintbrush. And I want to start with his mouth first, and I'm just going to do the little dot, 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 in a circle, a semicircle. Oops. Need a little more paint. Be generous with the paint because you want it to really, you know, stand out. Okay, so there's his little face. Now we're going to do his eyes. And I'm going to just do a little piece of coal right there for his eyes. And maybe a little piece right there. And he looks like a wicked smiley face. Look at him. Hi, Alicia. Okay, now I'm going to get all that black up because I don't want it all over my white. I'm trying really hard not to get this black on my white. And I'm going to pick up my third piece, which is going to be his bottom. Just making sure that white is really rubbed in really good on here. I had some glops, some little glops. Okay, I sound like Mike, is it Mike Ross? Happy little snowman. He's a happy little snowman. Hi, Lydia. How are you tonight? We just got started, Alicia. You're not late. We're just making a little snowman. All we've done is painted some little spools, and I took a little flat circle balsa wood disc and one of these round, let me show you what I did. For those of you who just joined us, I just took one of these little round balsa wood pieces and one of these, I just dropped them all over the floor. One of these little, they're called round head plugs, and glued it to the top, and all I've done is paint my spools. I've got 3 spools. Okay, now I don't like snowmen that are missing an orange nose. So I'm just going to grab an orange marker because I think the carrot nose is essential for a snowman. You could do coal since it's already out, but I want my little snowman to have orange noses always. So I just have an orange marker here, and I'm just going to put his little nose right there. You could do this with paint, but my hands shake way too much for me to be able to paint that on such a small surface. Okay, so there's his little face. How adorable is he? So adorable. He'd be cute if we just stopped right there. Isn't he cute? It does bring him to life. Just that little bitty detail just really does bring him to life. And we're going to put even more in his face. You just wait. He's not done yet, but I can't keep messing with it until those things are done. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to kind of put this to the side because I want those to dry. And we need to start thinking about how we're going to hang him up on the tree. And I happen to have, go look in your, oh wait, let's use some twine instead of the silver. I have twine up here somewhere. I think twine would be great, don't you? Like I said, I have a very natural Christmas tree. It has a lot of wooden ornaments on it. So I'm going to use some of this twine. I just think that would be so cute. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my twine and I'm going to I probably got way more than I need, but I'm going to take and just tie a little knot in it right here. And you may think I'm doing this a little bit backwards, but I'm doing, like I said, I've never made this before, and I never found a tutorial for how to make this one. I just saw it on somebody's Christmas tree, and it was in a Flickr account. So I don't know how it was made, but I took a look at it and said, I can do that. So this is what I'm going to do. Where is my base? I believe it's this one. And I'm just going to tuck it in there. No. Let me think this through. I do want to put it through the head first. Because, here's the deal. Because we have to put the hat on and the string is at the top. Right? Am I doing this right? Somebody please correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, I'm going to put this through here like this, but I want to leave enough string to where it can be hung on the tree, like this. But I'm going to separate that string down like this over this for now. So he looks like he's got bunny ears. And then I'm going to take my hot glue and I'm going to put hot glue all around there. And what that's going to do is it's going to secure my string in place, and I'm going to put my hat on him just like that. So now my string is secure across the top. Make sure it stays even before that glue dries. And see, so now he's going to hang like this. Okay. Then we're going to do his body next, which is going to be the one with the 3 circles. And I'm going to poke that in there. Look at how easy peasy this is. You could totally do this with kids. My twine, I don't want to touch his face because his face is still really wet. Ideally, you want him to dry completely before you smudge his makeup. And just keep poking it in there. I probably could have put a needle in it or something. It's right there. It's hung up on the wood. Okay, so now we're going to glue his body in place because we don't want him spinning around looking like a poltergeist, right? So get his head straight. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue right here on his body. And I'm going to put that right there. And don't worry if you can see that glue. Don't even worry. See, I knocked that off. You may want to actually glue this down with like E6000 glue instead of hot glue, but I forgot these are wood, and hot glue doesn't stick too well to wood. So use E6000 glue, but for the purposes of this class, we're going to use hot glue because I don't want to wait for it to dry. So I'm just going to have to be real careful that I don't pop them off. So anyway, there's our little guy so far. And then now we need to do his bottom. And go through there. And put glue on him, and the bottom doesn't matter which way you do it because it's doesn't have anything drawn on it, so that's good. And there's our little snowman. Now, to fix the bottom, because we don't want that string to show through too much. And truthfully, you could even cut the string off, because at this point the string's not really being held together by anything. But I like a little bit of something dangling down here, like some snowflakes or something. So what I have done is I'm going to tie a knot in this string, the bottom. You could also like put a button at the bottom to keep it from falling off if you just want to close it off. And you could also do another one of those little knobby things. But what I'm going to do is I tied a knot in it down here at the bottom, and I'm going to put just a hair bit of glue right there just because I don't want my knot to come undone later. And then I have this little, it's like a little, you know, crystal, which if he was a snowman, there'd be ice crystals hanging everywhere. So I'm just going to take a little jump ring, and I can never do these. I have to get, my fingers are so tender, I have to get these, this tool, and I lost one of them. I don't know what I did with it. It's probably in my catch-all up here. But I'm going to open that jump ring up and just kind of slip it in here. And these are just in the bead section, super cheap. At Christmas time, I buy those Christmas tree ornaments that are crystal-like because they're usually pretty cheap. They're like usually $1, and the card has like 2 or 3 of these cute crystal things on it. I get them when they're on clearance for like 50 cents. And truthfully, guys, if I wasn't making Christmas ornaments right now here in July, I probably would never make them. I wouldn't have time. Okay, so I have my jump ring, and I don't know why I just closed it, because I have to hook it around. Sometimes my brain don't work right. I have to hook it around. So you're going to kind of hook it onto right there. I probably should have got a bigger jump ring. Actually, let's hook it right here. Let's have it hang really far down. Let me see. I'm trying to get it for you guys. It's hard for me to get it where you guys can see it and I can still see it. But I'm trying to hook it around on the inside of that string just above that knot. I may have to go off camera to do it because I've got to be able to see it to get it in there. There we go. I think I got it. Yeah. I need my other pair of tweezers. Let me see if I can do it with these without cutting them off. There we go. Okay, so there he is. And then I'm just going to trim this string back, kind of right there. So there he is. Now let's decorate him up and make him pretty. Oh, a bell would be really pretty on the bottom of him. Isn't that cute? Now let's decorate him up because he looks a little flat to me. So, but I don't want to add the stickles to him until the end. So this is what I want to do. I'm going to take, this is just some holly that I got at Christmas time. It was in some of the Christmas decorations, you know, like I think I even bought it at Walmart, to be honest with you, in the packaging section. But I know last year I bought a bunch of these wreaths that it's like a wreath kit. Thank you, Tim Holtz, because he's the one who made me want it. And these are just those, you know, those kits for making wreaths with kids or something. And I bought up a whole bunch of them at the end of the season one year, and they were like 20 cents. But I've seen these as garland and Christmas wrap and ribbon and stuff. So I'm just going to tie that, put that right there on his little hat. See how that, just that little detail just really gives him a little bit of something. And then he wouldn't be right without a little bit of red. So let's throw these little holly berries on there that are from the same little vine. And I'm just going to kind of tuck them in here like that. And then maybe another one right over here on the other side. Can you guys still hear me okay, or am I too loud, too soft? These are little wooden spools. I think Maya Road makes some. I think Darius maybe makes some. Love Crafts makes some. if you pay attention and you buy the kits from Suzanne, most of the time your ribbons and fibers and things come wrapped around these gorgeous little spools whenever you get a kit from Suzanne. So hang on to those and upcycle them. Look at how cute he is. Just that little bit of punch. Now, he needs a little scarf around his neck. He just looks so cold. So I just have some little garland stuff right here. And it might be a little bit too much, actually. Let's take, I have some tulle sitting here. Let's take some tulle, maybe, and let's Tim Holtz it up. Just take your fingernail and rub it across it and just really distress it. I also have some seam binding sitting here. Where'd my seam binding go? Melissa, did you take my seam binding? There it is. Maybe, let's see, let's wet it, crinkle it up some. You could wet it with some glimmer mists. And then I'm going to add this to it, twist it up, and we're going to cover up right here. How stinking cool is this little guy? So there he is. And I want to save a little bit of time right now, so I'm not going to fuss with this knot. But you know, I would probably come back and tie a bigger knot on this thing so it stayed really good and tight. Look at how cute he is. Actually, what's the point if you don't do it right, right? I'm having a hard time tonight because I can't see very well, guys. I'm old. And it's hard for me to push this back this way for the camera. And I probably didn't cut it long enough. Let me take the scissors and poke it back through. And to me, on something like this, it's just so much better when it's all distressed looking. Because it looks like it's been in your family for years, even though you just made it. Okay, there we go. Now it's all tied up. And messing with the seam binding, see how it frays out on the edges? Perfect, because that's how a scarf is. Now, secret, if you want it to not fray off completely, you can always put a little dab of glue. Just put a little spot of glue right there and it'll quit fraying. Probably don't want to use hot glue, but that's what I happen to have. Okay, now the magic. Let's make him sparkly, because he's not cute unless he's sparkly. And that, my friend, I'm going to use some distress stickles. And this is the rock candy color. Just going to put, actually let's do it this way. Put some on my hand. And start rubbing it on his little body. And this is going to do a couple of things. One, it's going to help to seal it and keep other stuff from coming out. Two, it's going to add glitter without the glittery mess for people who don't like glitter like me. And it's a subtlety, but I think when you're dealing with snow, you should have a little bit of glitz. So I'm putting it all over inside of his little hat. And don't use a watercolor marker to do his nose like I did. I didn't realize. I thought those were permanent. He's got a little bit of a snotty nose. We have to wipe his nose. Okay. So anyway, there you go. There's our little snowman. So this is ornament number 1. How do you like him? Hi, Ramona. So there's number 1. So we're going to put him to the side and let him dry. And you guys who like glitter, you can add more glitter if you want to. I just, you know, not a fan. Okay, so for our next ornament, and these next ones are going to go so easy. Our next ornament we're going to do, put all of this over there and get it out of the way. The next one we're going to do is going to be this cute little butterfly. And let me wipe my hands because I've got stickles all over my hands. So did you guys like the snowman? Distress stickle dries so fast, and here's the thing, you don't get glittery goodness everywhere. Okay, for this one, when I show you guys how to do this one, you guys are going to go like, oh my goodness, that is like the easiest thing ever. Ever. Okay, I have 2 circles here to make this particular size. It does not matter what size circles you use. The circles are obviously going to determine the width of your butterfly. But in this case, I'm using a 4-inch circle and a 5-inch circle. I cut these out on my silhouette. There are, you know, I know there's some Sizzix dies, there's some Nestabilities dies, there's Cricut die. You know, look around in your world. You could even trace a CD as long as it's 2 circles. There's plenty of ways to come up with 2 circles. They just need to be 1 inch in diameter smaller. One needs to be an inch smaller than the other one. Okay, so this is what you're going to do. Fold it in half. And it helps too with this if it's a double-sided pattern, because if it's on your tree and it hangs and it spins, you want to be able to see something good on both sides, right? So I chose, on this one, I'm going to have this side up because I did the green side up on this one, okay? And that's just the thing with me. So you're going to fold it in half. And then you're going to start pleating it at 1/4 inch. You can use a score pal, you can use whatever. I just don't want to put that much thought into it, and this is what I did. I just started pleating it back and forth. And the reason I fold it in half to do it is because then your pleats, you don't having to stand there and pleat it all the way to the end of the circle. I mean, it's half the time. Okay? So there's one. You're going to do the same thing with the other one. You're going to fold it in half. You're going to pleat it, going this way, and then back this way. Back this way. Back this way. This way. Totally do this with kids. Cooper helped me make one of these. Okay. You want to make sure these pleats are good and tight, but they don't need to be ridiculous. You know, just pretty much like this. Then you're going to open it up like this, and then you're going to start with the corner, and you're going to do that whole valley. Now, when you get to the center, you're going to have to go the opposite way of the way that it is folded at that point, because you folded it in half to get your pleats. You see what I'm saying? But that's okay. I don't care. I can bend it back the other way. It's easier than trying to fold it all at one time. So there you go. I've seen some really elaborate ones of this one done, but like I said at the very beginning of this Ustream, and I don't know if I hit record, so I'm going to say it again, I love to make Christmas ornaments on my packages. So this is an easy project. Instead of bows, I do Christmas ornaments. Okay, so you're going to pinch it in half like that. So you see where we're going with the wings? Now, just hold on to that one, and we're going to do the same exact thing for this one. Open it up and start bending it back and forth. Now on my butterfly, I like the smaller wings to be at the bottom of my butterfly. And this smaller circle obviously is your smaller wings. And again, you're going to bend it, find your center point, and bend it in half. And then just come in and squeeze it really tight so those folds are good and tight. See how that works? So, this is the bottom of my butterfly, and this is the top. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this piece right here, you're going to take, well, this is the edge of the circle. If it goes all the way to the top, fine, leave it alone. If it doesn't, then let's cut it off, because we need it to be even. Okay, and then find the same here. Then we're going to take and put glue across here, all the way across. And you really want this to be hot glue in this case, because you need it to glue down fast. But it could be, if you use wet glue, then just use some paper clips to hold it in place until it dries. Oops. Don't burn yourself. Here's my disclaimer. This is a part you should probably do as the adult and not let the child do. And if you take them and you smash them together like this, see how it's coming together? So there's our butterfly. Okay, so again, we're going to find our center point. And you're going to take just a pipe cleaner is all I took. You could do wire, you could do anything you wanted to really. And I'm going to just pull up and take the longer side, and I'm going to wrap it around a couple of times, and then back at the top. Then I'm going to twist, I'm going to take, this is, oh, wait, I forgot. I need my string. I need to just take a little bit of the string, and I'm just going to take it and put it right there, and then wrap my cord around it. You may want to put just a spot of hot glue there to hold that in place, just in case. So you're going to wrap that back around. Then you're going to twist these together. Now, if you want your antenna to fold out, you're just going to spiral it out. Just take it and turn it and spiral. And depending on how long you want your antenna to be, I don't want mine terribly long, but they need to be long enough to tell what they are. And I'm just going to trim off, oops, this little piece right here. You want to make sure they're even. I probably need to cut a little bit more of that one off. Okay, now you're going to pull this up, pull it to the back. I pull it to the back of the antenna, and then you want to just tie it in a knot up here at the top, and this is the string that's going to hang on your tree. Right there. Put a little spot of glue on there to hold the knot so it doesn't slip through. With this particular string or whatever, it has this kind of metallic coating on it, so it slips a lot. Okay, now the fun part. Pulling these accordions out, and that's what makes our butterfly. Look at how cute. Now, you're going to take these two right here at the bottom, and this is where you find out if you put it on there straight. And you are going to glue these two together down here at the bottom. Put a little bit of glue right there between his legs. And hold it till it dries. Whoops. You may have to hold it for just a second because you're pulling away from what it wants to do. It's taking it a minute to hold. Hold on. It's still very warm. Then for the center of my butterfly, I just use one of these little Primus centers because I want the sparkle on a Christmas tree. I really want the sparkle. Okay, so now that's done. put him back up there. He's behaving badly today. Okay, then you're just going to fan these out. See how beautiful he is and simple? And then I'm just going to add my topper here in the center. Now, if you want it, you could get really elaborate with these if you wanted to. You could do another one, maybe a next size down, and put it right there in the center so it would have like a multiple. You can make his body longer. You could use beads for his body if you wanted to. But my goal here is packaging and ornaments for the tree that are simple. These also make great teacher, like things that teachers could do with kids. And like I said, you could use a fast drying craft glue on here. Now, for the glitter, I don't have any silver stickles, so I was forced to actually use glitter. So what I did was, and you know, you could be done with it here. It's certainly cute as it is. It's super easy, isn't it? You could be done with this at this point, but to me, I think it needs the sparkle. If I were going to put this on a package for sure, I'd probably use silver stickles, simply because I don't want the stickles to rub off onto the surface. And for all of you who think that spraying it with hairspray keeps it from the glitter from falling off, wrong. I sprayed these with hairspray, and there's glitter all over my workstation right now. So glitter, that is not true. Not true. You could, however, go over the top of it with matte medium, and that would secure it into place, but I don't have time for that. So that one is clogged up. So let's go with this one. But again, I'm going to show you the glitter just because I think it kind of adds a little finishing touch to it. But if I were you, I'd use stickles. That's just me. And I'm going around all the perimeter of my butterfly, just on the edge, and wherever you do it, obviously the glitter is going to show. And another thing you could do is that distress stickles on the you could do this distress stickles all over the paper, the circle, before you actually do the folding and bending. Just let it dry completely before you do that. Now I've got that much of it done, and I have my glitter here at my desk. Yes, it is recorded that Mama Tonya has used glitter. There, I'm out of my closet, my glitter closet. But see, to me, I'm going to show it to you both ways, but to me, it really does need glitter on a Christmas tree. Because it's going to catch that light and be sparkly. So there it is with it and without it. And I don't know if with the lights in here you can really see it. Yes, you could put an overlay of lace in here. Beads in the center, all kinds of things. And see, to me, I'm going to go ahead and this one, I'm going to add some silver coming straight down like this. Lace would be beautiful if you did these with, like if you did the stiffening on the lace and then did this, it would be gorgeous. Or how about some tulle? Would be lightweight. These are so easy and so fun. And here's the other thing too. You could even just do 2 wings, you know, do the one big circle, and then you could make dragonflies. Or what about vellum? Vellum would be awesome, especially if you did vellum and you embossed it. Wouldn't that be beautiful? Okay, so let's go back with our glitter. How are we doing on time? Have I lost everybody, or are they still with me? My chat's not up to speed. Vellum would be gorgeous, because it would still pick up the light from the Christmas tree behind it, you know? If you guys make these, you better tag me on Facebook so I can see them, because I'd love to see them. But look at how gorgeous and simple that was. Easy, easy peasy. Okay, I gotta hurry because I got 2 more to do, and they're all easy. but we're done with this glitter. Okay, guys, you get the idea of the glitter. We don't have to do glitter anymore, right? Okay. The next one I want to do, and this was actually in the Stampin' Up! Catalog last. If I don't get to this last ornament, I will do it. If I don't get to the last ornament, I will do it in August when we come back, or I'll do a blog post on it, okay? If you guys are bored with me. Okay, so this next ornament that I want to do was actually part of a Stampin' Up! In the Stampin' Up! Catalog last year, and you could definitely use the punches from Stampin' Up! To do this, but I got to thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? Tim Holtz has those ornament dies, and he has both of these shapes, so you could use those. Of course, you're limited to the size there, because it's that size, you know, one size fits all, and he's got two. I think they come in the movers and shapers and the big ones, so you've got those two options. But I used my Silhouette to cut these out, and I bought these shapes at the Silhouette store. I know the Cricut has these two shapes too. So this is what I did. I have this little, it's the circle with the other circle. See the shape? Hi Kathy, yes, we're recording. Welcome, welcome. I have these shapes, and then I have a 2.5-inch circle. And I did this in two sizes, so the larger size isn't necessary. This particular flower doesn't have the larger size, and I want to try and see if I can make it do it, you know, if it looks fuller with the larger size. So this step right here is not necessary to do this flower, but so all you need is this shape, and then this shape is just the Christmas bulb shape. And again, there are cuts on the Cricut for this. I got these from the Silhouette store. Tim Holtz has these two dies in dies, so there's plenty of options, and I do believe that Spellbinders also has these shapes. And if you get in a pinch and you can't find this particular shape, just cut the leaves off of a poinsettia shape. And you could probably freehand these, to be honest with you. So, and I know there are stencils out there with this shape on it too, so you could trace the stencil shape and then do it. But you're going to need 5 to 6 of these, you know, depending on how full you want it, of the little ones, and then 5 to 6 of this bigger, or this shape. Try and get them all going in the same direction so you guys can see it. And then I'm going to use 2 circles because I just like a clean back, and then it doesn't matter which side up you have for the circle because you're not going to see it. So I just cut it out of the pattern paper, and you are going to start gluing all of your pieces down. Again, you could use craft glue for this so the kids could join in and help. In my particular circle, I just want to kind of eyeball where the center point is on this. And the deeper you go in, the shorter it will be this way. So you kind of want to leave it out just a little bit. So this is what we're looking at. Then we're going to go to the next one, and you're going to put the next one right here. And I'm keeping my circles, I'm going to kind of keep my circles kind of tight, but they're bumped up against each other right here. They're not overlapping. If you want to go with 6 instead of 5, overlap them just a little bit. So it's probably be easier, since I'm talking too much, to do this and just lay them down one on top of the other. And don't worry about glue overage, because honestly, you're not going to see it. When you're done, you're not going to see the circle at all. You just don't want too many of those little spider webs sticking out. That's not fun. We're not making Halloween ornaments, we're making Christmas ornaments. Okay. Now I cut 6 of these shapes, but by all means you could do 5. If you do 6, you're going to have to overlap them just a little bit. I did 6 because it was just easier, and I figured if I was going to make these in mass quantities, the extra would be something that I could use to make another one later down the road. Okay, so whichever side you do up on this pass, the next shape you want to do it going the opposite way. But before we do the next shape, I wish I had some color tool in here, but I don't. All I have is this white. You're going to cut just a little sprig of this off, and you're going to fold it to a square, then you're going to fold it up to a triangle, and then you're going to fold this corner in and this corner in. And again, don't stress it if it's not even. It doesn't matter, because by the time you put it down, it really doesn't matter. I'm going to twist it just a little bit, and this is where you're really going to want an extra pair of tweezers or something, because you don't want to touch this with your hand. And this is going to kind of melt these this tool a little bit, so you want to hold it down until it's dry. So I've just got a pair of yuck tweezers here, and I'm just going to take this tool and put it down right there and kind of hold it in place until it dries. And I'm going between the ornaments, and you kind of want it to stick out just a little bit, so don't go all the way to the center, because mine's not long enough. I want it to stick out from underneath. And see, it just takes a second, and I wish I had a different color, but you see how it's sticking out? Okay, you're going to do that for all of those, so you need 5 of these. So we're going to cut another one. And I'm not being real precise with how I cut it. I'm just eyeballing it about a couple of inches. Obviously, the longer it is, the thicker it'll be. So fold it in half, fold it up to a triangle, pull the 2 corners in. Then at the center where it's all puckered up, you're going to twist, 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 twist. Place some glue there, take your tweezers, hold it in place till it dries. And I'm going between the ornaments with this step. Now, I gave credit to Stampin' Up! For this. However, please note that I did find these on origami websites. So this is probably an old origami thing that Stampin' Up! Modified for their purposes, but I know it's been around for a really long time. And I'm going to get a little glue there and pop that in there. And at first I didn't want to use the tool, and I did make one without the tool, but then I ended up going back and adding the tool to it, because to me the tool kind of helps to give it a little depth. Even though it's hard to see, when I'm done with it, you will see it just fine. So, and one more, 2 more. Okay. Okay, so we got our square, pull it up into a triangle, fold it in, twist it. Is everybody following along okay right now? How are you liking tonight's classes? You want to see more of this in August if we do an August show? I tell you, I could do a Ustream every month that's just Christmas ornaments, because there are so many ideas out there that I've always wanted to do. And like I said, I use these. I will actually, probably somebody will get a package from me with one of these on it. Okay, one more. But see how easy these are coming together? And to me, if you're going to make ornaments like this, you want them to be easy, because you want people to look at them and say, how in the world did she do that? That must have taken hours. But you in the back of your mind know that it only took you a couple of minutes. Okay. So there's that layer. Now we're going to come back with these little ornaments, and we're going to start building our next layer. And this is, you want to use the opposite side up than this. I mean, you could, but I think it looks much better when it contrasts. So this time, we're going to go between those. I'm going to start out, actually, in the center. Again, hold that down, and I don't want to smush it down. I kind of just want the glue to be right here on the centerpiece, because I want this to stick up just a little bit between those. And I've got 5 of them here, but I think I'm going to use 6. We'll see how it works out. So I'm going to come back over the top, and this time I want to lay it right on top of that other one in that circle spot right there. See what I'm doing? Because I want it to come together and be one piece in the center. It's going to look like it was one whole flower. Now, if you had a poinsettia die, instead of cutting it apart, just lay one right on top of the other. So you could do the big one in the bottom, put the tool in, and then put the other one on top. The smaller one on top, and it would look so cool. Okay, so there's that. Then we're going to come back with the next one. And again, I'm pushing it down right here in the center. Maybe just one more. So it was 5, not 6. And that one's going to go right there. Don't worry if it squishes out a little bit. See how it's starting to look? Then we're going to take our Prima Centers here. And you know, those sapphire ones, what are they called? Suzanne will have to help me with it, but they have some that have sequins in the center of them, and they're multicolored. Those would be gorgeous. These are just the clear ones. And I'm going to put that right there in that center. Now, here's the trick. We got to get the string in there. Technically, you probably should have put the string in before you put those little pieces down. But never fear. That's why I cut 2 pieces out. Oops. Because I got to thinking about it, and I was like, dude, I think maybe we should come in and put another row right there. What do you guys think? If we did one more row coming across the back like this. Y'all like the extra row? Y'all want the extra row? Let's put the extra row on there and do the string. So our string, again, we're just going to tie a little knot. Put a little glue. And I always put glue on my knots because I don't want them to come undone. Then what I did was I took the center of this one, found my center point of my flower, and I used just a touch of score tape to hold it in place because I really wanted it good and secure, and I didn't want to wait for that hot glue and it ended up being a mess. So I'm just going to pinch that together and put the score tape right over the top of it like that. And then, and y'all could probably use the gloobers if you wanted to, but I think I'm going to come back and do this one. Do I want the string behind it, or, yeah, I want that over the string. Just like that. Come back with the bigger ones. I'm trying to hurry, guys, because I got one more ornament I want to share with you if you all want to hang with me long enough. Now these you are going to have to overlap a little bit to get into that gap because they're a little bit bigger in diameter than those others were. But that's okay, as long as you keep them even. And you just keep building layer after layer after layer. How cute are these? Okay, there's that one. And then this finishes off the back. And I'm going to use the green up right there. Oh, hot, hot, hot. Okay, so there's that ornament, and again, just go over it with some stickles. Oops, that one is just a little bit too... Anyway, you guys get the idea. Keep them straight. Spend some time getting them straight. But look at how cute that is. Then what I did was, after all of this was dry, I just took my finger and just kind of ran it across these leaves to fluff them up a little bit. Don't push too hard, because if you do, they will break. But while they're hot, they're easy to curl. Just be real careful with these that are double-edged, because that centerpiece where they come together is really fragile. And if they don't bend right, you spray these stinkers down with some glimmer mists to give them some shine. That's what I did. I went back over them with some of the Dazzling Diamonds Glimmer Mist, or whatever your favorite one is, or maybe it's a color that complements the color of your Christmas tree. And then I just came back with the stickles. And I don't want to do this to all of them right now because you're not going to see it on camera anyway, but just brush it over it. And then while this was wet, you know, you could come back and do some around the edges and then dip it in your glitter. So you guys get the idea on that, right? You don't need to see me glitter it, right? Okay, I have one more ornament to show you. You guys want to see it, or do you want? Are you done with me for the day? Who wants to see it? It's this one. You guys want to hang with me while I make one more? I'm here as long as you are. You're so sweet. Go for it. Okay. That's what I like to hear from my little flocklings. Okay, so this one is super easy. Super easy. It is time consuming, and this one might be a little challenging for your little guys because I don't know if you could use regular glue on this. I don't know that it would stick. But I went to the dollar store and I just bought some shower curtain rings. And I happened to find this clear color, which yay me. But if you can't find the clear, try wood. Wood would probably be a good bet too. But these are just those clear shower curtain rings. Cheap, cheap, cheap. Then I found that, you see where this hole comes out? I am going to put a spot of glue. Be careful, don't drip it on your hand. But I'm going to put a spot of glue right there on that. Again, E6000, you could use it. And I'm going to just let that dry for just a second so that my hole is permanently sealed. Okay. Now, I took, for this one, I used hymnal pages. Book pages, dictionary pages, hymnal pages, but I love this look of this one because it has the music paper on it, and it fits my woodland theme. But I got to thinking, because I bought the kit from Flamingo Scraps, so this is the Echo Park, and all I did was I cut out 16 of these shapes. This is a 3-inch poinsettia cut. I used the Spellbinders die. It's a little bit thin through here, so this particular one I used my silhouette to cut out. I know the Cricut has the shape. I know you could probably, after I show you how to do this, you could actually use the medium size tattered angel, or the, excuse me, let me get it for you. The medium sized Tim Holtz, which are these individual ones, tattered florals. You could use either one of these sizes. I just happen to like the shape of this leaf better. You could also use just a leaf. A single leaf. Of course, you're gonna have to do more cuts to do a single, but when I was doing it originally, I cut them out in leaves, and then I went, no, wait a minute. It's actually better to use this. Now, you are gonna want these a little bit pliable, a little bit wet, but you don't want these saturated. because if you saturate them, you are going to have a mess on your hands. So what I've done is I have, this is the, not that one, that's white, you don't want that one. What did I do with, there it is. You want to use, I'm using the Tattered Angels Dazzling Diamond Spray. Okay, it's white, but it has a little bit of a shimmer in it. And instead of spraying the flower, I'm going to spray a little bit on my hand. That's going to moisten it as I'm working with it without it getting completely saturated and wet. See what I'm doing? I'm kind of clapping it together. You're going to do that with all of them. And I'm picking up the whole stack because I want these damp. What this does is when you dampen the flowers, you actually release the starches in the paper. And it helps to make them pliable. And this diamond, it gives it just a little bit of shimmer without over-the-top glimmer. I'm not a huge fan of really sparkly stuff. So let's just do this. So this just kind of helps to diffuse some of that wetness a little bit, but it makes them easy to work with. And you can always go back and add more water if you don't work fast enough. Now this particular pattern is in that Echo Park line, I believe, or the Cartabella, I don't know which one. But it is one of the papers in the kit, and I think they're in the big pink bird bargain bin. So you're going to start, I want to cover this piece up. This is my top. And you want to start by going inside of your circle, and 2 leaves are going to be on the back side, while the 3rd leaf is going to be, so it's going to kind of curl around. And if you happen to break a leaf off, it doesn't matter. Don't stress it, because you can always put the leaf back on. I just find it easier to work with 3 or 4 at a time rather than 1 at a time. But you guys may want to do 1 at a time. I don't know. Be careful, do not burn yourself. This is the trick. And see how I put that glue on there, and then I'm going to pull this up. Now, they do make a glue that is a low temp. You could use the lower temp, I guess. I just don't have any feeling in my fingers anymore because I craft all the time. So, and I'm going to pull those up and just take my hot glue and work these petals around this ring. And the cool thing about these is you can grab from the top of these leaves, and see how it's covering up those. You can grab from the top of the leaf, see where I'm putting the glue, up here where there is no glue, and pull it around. And you're going to continue on like that all the way around. Now, if I went with this side up this time, I want to flip it over and do this side up this time. So I get just a variation in color, because that is going to give it even more depth. Now, another trick to this too, if you use green or something, you may want to come back with some, Tim Holtz Distress ink and distress the edges. But because we're running out of time, I'm not going to go through all of that. And the object is to pull these in and glue them together so that you don't see that ring in the center. And you're just going to keep adding thickness all the way around. And sometimes it's going to be a little tricky because it's like on this case, that one ripped. Not to worry. I'm not even worried about it. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue right there. And I'm going to pull this little guy around and let him fuse to that. See how I poked my fingernail through that? Not going to worry about it. I'm going to put a little glue right there. And I'm going to offset this so it's in that hole. And the thing about the clear rings is that you don't really see them once you add all these layers. See, you guys thought this was going to be really complicated, didn't you? See how cute that is already? Wouldn't this be adorable to use as napkin ring holders for your table, and then just take some of those little berries and work them up through here and run your napkin rings through here on your table? Super simple. And you could even do this. You could even tie like a little tag off to the side for a place setting, you know, to put someone's name on for, what do they call those things? I'm not a debutante here. Our debutante is Suzanne. Okay, so I went up with the polka dots there, so I want to go down with the polka dots here. And I'm just putting glue along the bottom of that ring, on the underside of that ring. So I'm just offsetting them again. Oops, I went the wrong way with that one. It goes this way. And alternating these like this, like I said, will actually give you that variegated look that I think is super cool. And you know, it might be easier to physically go all the way around and then come back and fill in the holes. I don't know. I just kept playing with it. I will say that after doing this, the hymnal pages were much easier. So the thinner the paper, probably the better. And how cool would this be with Mylar wrapping paper? Because it would be shiny. Now see right there, I got one little hole right there. So I'm going to flip this around. Polka dot side up. Poke it in the hole. Fill in right there. And if these were actually like if these were, speaking nouns, Tonya, if these were actually two colored, they would be really cool looking. Like, could you imagine silver and gold wrapping paper done up like these? You know, there's something to think about if you could find something that was silver on one side and gold on the other. Okay, so this one needs to have this side up. And I'm just pulling it down every time I go around. Just pulling it down a little bit further. And don't worry about them glue spots, because you are not going to see them when we're done. Just bear with me. It's tedious. But this is something I can do in front of a TV while my husband's watching a movie. I need very limited light for this. You know. We're coming up on the end here. And if we went, let's see, this way this time, I want to flip it around and go this way this time. So, poke it in. I'm going to put the glue right there. And these feel like they need a little bit more water. Put that right there. The water really helps them bend, but be very careful because they will rip. And if you got to wet them to do it, you might as well use something that's shimmery, right? The ring is a shower curtain ring. Ooh, if you buy the kit, which is in the Big Pink Bird bargain bin, Suzanne is saying that she will actually throw in some hymnal pages. Bonus, bonus. Bonus, bonus. And for those of you who ask me constantly, where can I find hymnal pages? Because I really like that idea, especially on a Christmas tree. I just go to church bazaars, and usually they're selling them. They're the damaged ones from the pews, inside the pews, and you usually can get them at a pretty decent price. I think decent. The last one I bought was actually free. They told me that it had the gospel in it, and their job was to spread the gospel, and I could have it for free. So what I did was, instead, I made a donation to the church and said, buy another book to replace the one I'm taking. And they were so happy to do so. Okay, so we're coming up on the end here. How stinking cute are these? Adorable! You just always want to make sure you go from the inside out. And see how it's starting to look? How cute is that? It's all variegated. You've got polka dots, but then you got solids, and same thing over here. And don't worry about that little spot. Like I said, we'll fix that. Because we have a few of these left over here. I have several left over. I think I cut 2 pages of these because I wanted to make multiples of them, and so while it was up, I just told it to cut. And like I said, use those crickets and those other things that you got. We've invested all of this money into them. Use them up. Let me grab another glue stick real fast out of the refrigerator here. Put a little more glue on there. Poke that in there. Then I'm going to take these right here. And like I said, the clear ones, the clear shower curtain rings are probably one of your best bets, because it doesn't matter what color paper you're using. It's just going to reflect back that clear color if you miss a spot. I was so excited when I found those, and if I didn't have that as a choice and I did have wood for a choice, I would take wood. That would be my other option. Now, some of you may find it's easier actually to only work with the one leaf at a time. I don't know, but I really like this idea. Now, for the finishing touches, everywhere I've got little spots like this, I am going to use just a single leaf. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these like this. And I'm going to fill in everywhere I need to fill in. So, like right here. Let me see. Maybe go right here. And I'm just going to take this right here. Bring it around. You know what else would be super cute to do with is that core paper, the one that the coordinations paper. And all I'm doing is kind of tucking it in and gluing it to that thing, pulling it around. See how cute it's looking? I have to admit, though, I think the hymnal pages one looks a little better to me, but I just like that look. But you don't know till you try it. Okay, let's go this way with this one. Let's maybe take this one. So all of these spots right here, I'm just going to take and continue to fill in these leaves like this. It's hot. Don't get burnt. If you have to use a tool to wrap it back around, then use a tool. Okay. And then right here, let me put a little more glue right there. Now see how cute these are? Now, to finish it up, that's just not wanting to lay right. Let's put another one right there. Maybe coming through like this. Which side do I want up? This side maybe? I'm going to just make this a little cleaner right here where I cut it off. Okay, now to finish it off, we need to put our string in here. And all I did was I just went down. You probably should do this from the start. I don't know why I can't remember these strings. Actually, let me put it right here before I put that last piece on. Grab it through. And if you wanted on this one to come back with some red stickles and put some dots on there. And then to make the ribbon that's at the top, see, I'm going to just tie this in a knot. I'm almost done, guys, I swear. Okay, tie this in a knot. Put a little dot of glue right there. How big are the flowers? They are 3 inches, I believe. 3 inches. The flowers are 3 inches. Okay, so to finish it off, I just have this, I just happen to have this velvet ribbon that you can find anywhere during the holidays. And this is how I make my bows. I do a loop back this way, trim it off. Then I have this really super thin wire. It is a 24 gauge wire. So the higher the gauge number, the thinner the wire is. And this is just, I found it in the jewelry section, like the jewelry making section. And it's super thin, which is why I like it. Where'd it go? And I'm just going to take this and pinch it right into the center. Again, I really think the hymnal pages work better than this heavy cardstock. I think you really want some thin paper, and to be honest with you, wrapping paper would be the prettiest, I think. All those little glue dots, don't worry about them. When you add glitter to this, you won't see them. And if you use the hymnal pages, you don't see the glue. I really think hymnal pages are the way to go with the wreath. Did I say that? Okay, so then I'm going to cut this off, this little tail, and now I have the perfect bow. Look at that. You just have to pull the little tails in a little bit tighter, maybe make your loop a little bit smaller. Pull these down. Pull this one down. And then take some glue, put it on the back of your bow. And stick it right there. And there we go. Oops. There's our ornament. Oh, I just dripped glue on here. Now, where that one is right there, I don't like that. So I'm probably just going to take another one of these and wrap it back in. And you just keep doing that until you've filled in all your holes. You don't really see them at first until you start hanging it up, and then you start noticing the holes. So you just need to come back in and you just clean it up with another whole flower. Easy, easy, easy. And then at the very end, if you want to get rid of your spider webs, because this is Christmas and not Halloween, just hit it with your heat tool. So there you go. And how adorable would this be with a little name tag hanging from it, hanging on a package? And again, since this is white core cardstock and we cut it, you may want to just go around it with a little bit of distress ink just to kind of, you know, clean it up a little bit. But look at how cute that is. And it's cute from both sides. You can put another bow here on the back if you want to. So that's it. That's our show for tonight. So thank you guys for hanging with me. We made 4 ornaments. Let me hang them out here so you guys can see them. This was the first one. Then we made this one. Of course, you want to add glitter to it. We didn't waste the time on that. And here's this one. And here's our little snow guy. So there we go. Thank you guys for coming.